Alrighty guys, so that is how I clean my chameleon's enclosure. Not saying my way is like you must do it or your chameleon will die in like 2 days. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I got all of my ideas. What's good? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show y'all how I, Miss Afro Queen Jasmine, redoes and cleans my chameleon's enclosure. So this is basically how tall it is right now. I do plan on giving him a more taller um enclosure, but just for right now, since I'm gonna be moving soon, I'm just gonna keep him in this, and then once I move, that's when I'm gonna upgrade him. But for right now, this is okay because I take him out like all the time anyway, so he's barely in here. He's only in here when he sleeps and when I like leave for work and stuff. So yeah, this is his enclosure, and I'm gonna just give you guys a closer look. So inside I have the Rango, of course, and then I have the fake plants in the back of him, back of the real tree, and then this is the ficus plant right here, and then I have some fake twigs in there, or the moss twigs and stuff, and then I have the big trunk right here, and then I only put that in there because he likes to be close to the door when he wants to get out, and like let me know when he wants to get out, and then it helps him get to the bottom so that he could eat his food. And where his food goes is in this clear container here, and that's where I put all his worms and his roaches when he does decide to eat them. And then, as you do notice, as you can see, I do have paper towels instead of that carpet stuff that people use. I don't know if people use that, but I've heard some people do use it, but I prefer not to because it's just more work for myself, and I don't like doing a lot of work depending on the situation. But for this situation, I don't like it. So I use paper towels, and that is because it just makes it easier to clean. Like with the whole carpet thing, it's just like you have poop on there, and then you have to wash off the poop, and then you have to dry it, and then just like, it's a lot. I don't want to do all that. With the paper towels, you just wipe it up and throw it away, and then put a new paper towel down. Like, that's all. Excuse me. That's all you have to do. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and then you guys can see how I clean out his cage. Okay, so I'm going to take out all the branches. Oh, and just so you guys know, I'm not talking to myself. I was on FaceTime with my friend, but into you. So I'm gonna take out all of the branches and like all his little accessories that I have in there for him, and just check them just to make sure there's no poop on them. If there was any poop, I would just go ahead and take them to the sink and disinfect them with like bleach and stuff, but I didn't have to this time around. And here I'm going to take the tweezers and just dig around to make sure that none of his food got out and was hiding under the napkins, because sometimes that does happen on most occasions. And just so you know, I do feed him worms or dubia roaches. So I just go ahead, peek around, look for those. They like to hide under the napkins, in between doorways, in the corners, all that good stuff. And I'm going to take him out now. This is a ficus plant. You can get it at Home Depot. Mine came with him when I got him, so I didn't really have to like do any digging around for one. But yeah, so I'm just take him out. Okay, so now that Rango is out of his enclosure, I'm just going to take the dirty napkins, take those out, throw them away. And then here I still like to make sure that there is no leftover bugs or anything. So I'm just go through there, make sure there isn't, which there obviously was. So I'm going to take those out along with the dead leaves that fell from the plant. And then again, make sure that all the corners are checked, because some of the bugs do like to hide like in those nitty gritty areas. And now I'm going to take the disinfectant spray that I made, or my dad made. He made it with Fabuloso and a mixture of something else. I'm not too sure, but it does get the job done. It disinfects and helps me wipe up all the dirty stuff that is on there, like his poop and all that. And then I do like to make sure that it is wiped up very well, because you never know. It is a disinfectant, and if he does ingest it, that's really bad for him. You could also use bleach as well, or like some type of disinfectant spray, just as long as it's cleaned up and dried very, very well. And then once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and put down his new napkins. And yeah. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and put Rango and his tree back inside. And this is the part where I get to get really creative. Well, not really creative since it's pretty decent size enclosure, it's not super big. But I'm gonna be using this moss vine branch thingy bendy thing because it bends. And that's why I like it. So this one is from Zoomed. Oh, and then there was a roach in the plants that I had to freaking run around for. See, this is why I check everything to make sure all the bugs are out. But anywho, back to what I was saying. So I'm gonna shake out the plants, make sure there's no other bugs hiding in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put the branches where I like them. So here, since I have the screen enclosure, it's very easy to put the bendy branches because you could just stick like little holes in them and have the branches where you like them to be. And I do like to put this big trunk inside because it helps him get down to the bottom of the tree and like mediate his body temperature and stuff, because that is another big thing. You want to have levels that where they could climb down to. So if they're getting too hot, they can just climb down to the bottom where it's cooler. And I put one on each side, and the one I'm putting on this side actually helps him more get to his food bowl, since I do put his food bowl always on one side of the enclosure, which I'll show you at the end what side that is. And here is another bendy vine that I use, another one from Zoomed. Zoomed is like one of my favorite brands to use for my animals, so especially for my reptiles. I use Zoomed like a lot. So Zoomed, if you see this, hit your girl up, send me some things, I will for sure use them. But anyways, I am going to put this vine all around, through the tree, behind the tree, through the branches, and I'm going to stick it through the side. Well, I'm gonna have it held up on the side. Now, to tie the branches to make sure that they don't fall when he does step on them, I just tie them to the side with this little bendy tie thing. It's kind of like the zip. You know what? I don't even know what they're called, to be honest, but I just use them to tie it to the side. And I'm just going to stick in a few other branches in here. Some more of the moss branches. I like the moss branches because it helps when I do mist, it helps keep the water on them. So these guys don't know what a water bowl is. So with the misting, it helps them drink. And with that, the plants and all these branches really help a lot because they do get the droplets from the mister. So I always try and stick a lot of branches in here. Okay, so this is the finishing product. I added this right here and this green mossy thing in there just to give him more like different climbing areas. Make it every time I redo his enclosure, I always try and switch it up. So I'll always have the plant, but I'll always like put either these branches in different areas or try and switch up the placement of the twigs and stuff. And then here's his bowl, all nice and clean. And I always set it in the same spot, so I always feed him on this side. And that is his finished enclosure. And like I said, paper towels, my BFF. Alrighty, so that concludes my video for the day. I show you guys how I clean my chameleon's enclosure. I'm not saying that my way is the way you must do it or your chameleon will die in like a month. That is not what I'm saying. This is just how I do it from gathering information that I've read and from people who've owned chameleons. I just gathered all that and made it my own. This way works best for me because I don't have to clean it like every few days. I just have to clean it every 2 weeks, and it's been working for me, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. So be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys next week for my next video.